This is my 26th year playing the bass, and my very first instrument was drums. When I was 5 years old, my parents bought me a toy drum set, and then they started me on classical piano lessons when I was 8. I did that for several years. And when I was 14, the bass player in the band that I was in decided he wanted to play rhythm guitar, and so I volunteered to try my hand at the bass. I was playing keyboards in the band at the time. And back then, my bass hero was Geddy Lee of Rush, and he was playing keyboards and bass also. So I said, well, I got to do what he does. And so then I started to explore the world of the bass more. And eventually, just fell in love with it, and that became my main performance instrument. And keyboards now for me are more just a writing tool than anything else. But I think I've lost my performance chops on them, unfortunately. But I love playing the bass, so it's okay. Gerald and myself, we've crossed paths, just different musical, random musical settings, like happens so often. You see someone, you meet them at a show. I honestly don't remember the exact instance, but yeah, we hit it off. Gerald he's like I'd consider him like a brother, musically and unmusically. He's a great guy, and we share a lot of the same ideas about musical vision and our vision for music education. So we just hit it off, and I'm honored that he keeps asking me back. Well, that's changed some over the last 9 or so years. In more recent years, I've gotten really fascinated with the idea of helping students to find their own voice on the instrument, find their own identity through their music. So a lot of what I like to talk about now is dealing more with the less tangible aspects of music, the things that you can't necessarily write on a staff, using notes and other musical notation. So actually getting into the cognitive and mental aspects that go alongside being a musician, and digging into those, understanding how those aspects are actually the most communicative parts of music, even more so than the notes themselves or the dynamics you play. That to me is really, really fascinating. As I've been exploring that on my own more, that's of course filtered into my teaching as well. That's a great question. One of the things about the boot camp is we have a lot of repeat customers. A lot of students come back over and over again, so we sort of have that home crew that returns every year. But this camp in particular, I had asked in my master class how many people were new, and I was actually surprised how many hands went up. There were a lot of hands that went up. And we are starting to see more and more women and young women come to the camps, and which I think is great. You don't see a lot of bass players out there that are female, and the more the merrier, I say. There's a camaraderie and spirit here that is something that's very unique, and I've been lucky to be a part of different educational conferences and things like that were centered around the bass guitar. And there's something about Gerald's camp that is, it's hard to put your finger on it, but there is a real uplifting spirit of positivity here and encouragement amongst the students. It's amazing. You really see the veil be lifted, from a lot of the students from the beginning of the weekend to the end. Their confidence level just skyrockets. A lot of players are literally transformed here, and it's just so cool to see. It's really exciting.